Our SABC News specialist researcher, Maswele Ralebona, joins us right now to help us unpack all the latest. Maswele, the IEC has now basically published the election timeline. Maybe let's start at that. What important dates should we be highlighting, especially in that lead up to that 4th of November poll?
Thank you so much for having me. So the IEC, in accordance with Section 24, subsection 1 of the Municipal Structures Act of 1998, the minister proclaimed the date of the elections, which is the 4th of November 2026, as pronounced by our President Ramaphosa earlier this year. But what we see today, the IEC, as they have been telling us that on the 7th of May, on the 7th of August, there will be the proclamation. So it also gave them time to prepare their timetable. At the beginning, we just had something that looked like a timetable, but it didn't have the actual dates. Right now, we know that starting with the candidate nominations, which, according to the IEC, opened on the 21st of June. Then today, they officially open that candidate nomination process, which will be closed later this month. And then failure for political party or even an independent candidate to register their candidates, which it will mean, or if you are late, according to based on the date that has been given, it means you will miss out on the elections. So there's a lot that's going to happen from now on. It actually means officially the country has shifted to elections mode. There's no more gossip about elections, these elections, that everything that you say, everything that will be happening, political parties and otherwise, they will be held responsible by the electoral code, which we know during this period, even the electoral court starts taking objections, start taking cases before the elections, and even after some of the issues can be resolved after the elections. But what is to be known, what is important for political parties and any other candidate out there, because we know these elections are contested by political parties and independent candidates, is that whatever they do, whatever they say, whatever they pronounce from now on, it will be subjected to electoral code of conduct. And whatever they do, the IEC and whoever that is responsible for this process of the elections will hold them responsible.
You speak about missing out, and for people who are either watching us from home or at work right now, who might be wondering if they are indeed registered to vote for this all-important election, there's an important deadline, and that's the deadline at midnight. Why is this midnight deadline so important, especially when it comes to online registration or updating your details? And what are the consequences if you haven't engaged with this platform?
So the IEC so far has got more than 29 million people registered to vote for this year's elections. And we know that a sizable number of those registered comes from online registration, comes from WhatsApp registration that has just been launched earlier. And then we know that if you are not registered at this hour, you only have few hours left until the midnight tonight, because proclamation means they close the process of registering so that the voters' roll can now go into the process of certification of the voters' roll. And you know, the IEC also announced that there are dates leading to these elections now in August, wherein the voters' roll will be opened for those who are interested to go and check. If they have objections on the voters' roll, they can go and object and say, why is this person on our voters' roll when this person resides on the other side of the town? Or why is this number of people on the voters' roll and using the same address? Can we go and check if these people reside on that? Those are some of the issues that we find in the voters' roll, because you know there's also manipulation of voting stations and manipulation of many other things. So that process allows the IEC now to close the voters' roll and then allow for certification. And then after that, the voters' roll will be published for everyone to see how many people are in their voting station. And It also helps candidates and political parties as to when they are campaigning, which side to kind of go, and where are there more people residing in that particular voting station and the ward, because elections are going to be won from the ward.
Absolutely,
and then the PR seats in the councils.
Maswele, a bit of an unfair question to you, I'll admit, but you've been researching at least the steps leading up to the local government elections, at least until now. Yes. Maybe give us your own assessment as well of the IEC's own handling of the elections so far, or the preparations thereof, but also what do they have to say, especially when briefing the nation about their level of preparedness, says the IEC?
So what we've seen throughout, including the previous elections, that the IEC has never failed South Africa, in my opinion or in my observation. And when you look at how, actually today only, when the election is proclaimed, and then they come and give us the timeline, the actual dates, this is what is going to happen, this is what is going to happen, you then realize that the IEC itself is very prepared for these elections, like they have done with other elections. You will remember that 2024 we had elections, and the IEC, as it stands, they only have one a court case stemming from the previous elections. Right. The rest of the issues that they had regarding those elections, the 2024 elections, have been closed down, and everyone who had a grievance is satisfied. That tells you that the IEC has mastered the art of running this democratic process from the first day, the first day until now. They look like they really know how to follow the rules, the Municipal Structures Act, including the Constitution that gives them the mandate to run the elections. So from the IEC side of things, what I've observed and following them, their processes, their press briefing that they called now and then, and they successfully held two voter registration weekends, of which you can't falter them, unlike in 2021, where because of time and COVID and other court challenges, we only had one voter registration weekend.
Maswele, before I let you go, it is a local government election coming up on the 4th of November, and as parties now hit full steam with the election campaigns, what issues will be relevant right now, especially issues that will be that parties themselves will be using as they campaign and try to reach to their constituency as well?
You'll remember that in 2024 national elections, leading to that elections, we had a problem of load shedding, which immediately, a few weeks or few months before the elections, that problem came to an end, kind of resolved. Right now, we are talking about water in the big cities. City of Joburg, we are experiencing lots of water cuts, potholes, even though they explain them. You go to small towns, there's no roads in most of the... If there are roads, you will see that they've been neglected. The Auditor General's report tells you about the assets that are supposed to be taken care of by the municipalities, and the municipalities are not taking care of those. According to the, if I'm not mistaken, the previous report shows that only 3% of the budget of 622 billion rands, only 3% went to servicing or taking care of the public assets. We are talking town halls, we are talking roads, we are talking boreholes in some of the municipalities. We are talking everything that needs to be taken care of by the municipalities. You have the metros right now, which is the hot topic in South Africa. City of Joburg, we know not long ago they were dealing with the Treasury, which didn't give them a grant that they were supposed to get. And then these metros alone, 8 of them, they are responsible of 54% of the entire municipal budget. That's why you see lots and lots of people leaving their rural areas, coming to the metros, to the urban areas, because that's where most services are experienced. Many of us who came to Johannesburg and other big cities, we know that when we are in our rural towns, all we do is complain. There's no this, there's no that, there's no network, there's no... everything, you tend to compare your life in the big city with the rural area. And when you look at the people who have made their lives comfortable in rural areas, they are used to the situation, they are used to, and that gives politicians, they run away from responsibility because they know majority of the people in the rural areas do not even, I kind of say, do not know their rights when it comes to services, because they've normalized potholes, they've normalized water cards or no water at all, wherein you find neighbors having to go and buy water from the person who dug their own borehole, which is not normal, because that's the responsibility of district municipality and a local municipality.
Maswele, let me thank you for your time. That was SABC research specialist, that's Maswele, unpacking today's IEC briefing, but also importantly, the road to the November 4th, 2026 local government elections. With the election timetable now in place, attention burns to, or rather, it turns to the next critical milestone, and that's the electoral process. And eligible South Africans have until midnight tonight to register or update their voter registration details. That's online, before the focus now shifts to candidate nominations, campaigning, and of course, preparations for election day as well on the 4th of November.